Now, you already know this ain't no ordinary travel podcast. This is the place where stories stretch across oceans, where truth comes wrapped in laughter, and healing shows up between passport stamps. I'm Auntie Rae, your resident hot pants wearing, globe-trotting, truth-telling storyteller. And I've got a tale for you. So pull up a chair, pour yourself something warm or wild, and let's take this journey together, one soul-soaked step at a time.
I unpack once and the world rolls in. Steel drums hum while the healing begins. A sampler played alive, baby, that's the vibe. If my spirit don't dance, I let that port slide. Whitewashed walls and Santorini dreams. Tallinn secrets spilling in moonlight beams. Not every place speaks, but when they do, oh child, I mark it in my soul, not just in my file. The ocean ain't never judged me. She just rocked me slow, then hugged me. I float, I feast, I find my peace in the rhythm of the sea. They cut me loose, but I broke free, and now the tide belongs to me.
Last time we talked about my great escape, that breakthrough moment when Auntie Rae decided to finally bounce. And where did a woman like me, fresh off a corporate cleanse, find her footing? On the open seas, darlings. Now let me be upfront with y'all. Ain't here to convert nobody. This ain't no travel cult recruitment speech. I'm just going to tell you why the open seas got a hold on me. Why cruising feels like home, with a splash of champagne and the soft thrum of steel drums. The taste of salt on the air, the distant laughter from the deck, it all just settles my spirit. For some folks, cruising is too structured, too curated, too commercial. But for Auntie Rae, it's freedom in a fitted itinerary. It's peace with room service. And deeper than that, it's a sense of belonging. Like a familiar embrace, it's getting rocked to sleep by the waves instead of insomnia. A gentle rhythmic sway that lulls you into the deepest, most restorative calm. My body, after years of restless nights, found its anchor. It's home. But with a different view, every single morning, cruising gives me the best of both worlds. I get to taste the globe without lugging my life up cobblestone hills or stressing about which hotel forgot my reservation. I unpack once, and the world comes to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it's just a nibble of each destination, a sampler plate, but that's the beauty. Some places whisper sweet nothings to my spirit and beg me to return. Others, girl, they can keep it, like any port that looked too much like a generic shopping mall. I trust my gut and my sandals. If my soul don't perk up in the first hour, it ain't my people. Over time, I've gotten real good at spotting which ports deserve my full attention later. Places like Santorini, with her whitewashed flirtations, the crisp sun-drenched air carrying the scent of salt and blooming bougainvillea practically winking at you. Or Tallinn, with her cobblestone secrets, each ancient stone humming with whispers of history, the distant sound of gulls crying, and the unique feel of the worn rock beneath my feet. Them spots make me want to linger, sip slower, maybe even learn a little of the language. Now listen, I've been at this for nearly 20 years. If they let me plan a 365-day world voyage based on ports that made my heart do a two-step, I'd have that itinerary mapped out by sundown. I mix my cruises up some ports I know like old friends. Others are blind dates. I love the thrill of discovery, but also the comfort of familiarity. Both feed me. And let me tell you something, cruising scratches that planner itch deep down in my bones. I study deck plans like I'm prepping for an exam. I know which restaurants have the best shrimp and which cabin gets afternoon sun. My travel binder, color-coded, tabbed, and practically whispering secrets to me in my sleep. Some folks call it obsessive. I call it foreplay. The thrill of knowing exactly which hidden corner of the library gets the best afternoon sun, or having the exact menu for the seafood grill. Committed to memory. That's my kind of quiet thrill. Sometimes I even caught myself muttering cruise trivia under my breath, just for the pure joy of knowing it. That structure grounds me. In a world that changes faster than wigs on Drag Race, cruising gives me consistency. My stateroom, always waiting. My steward already knows I like 2 extra towels. My midnight snack cravings, handled. I didn't always know I needed that predictability. I thought adventure had to be rugged and spontaneous. But sometimes surrendering to a system that supports you is the real revolution. These ships, they float like dreams. Whole cities on water, complete with theaters, libraries, and buffets that don't close. You ain't got to ask me twice. Thanks, Jay. You got something started. And no shade to all the bells and whistles, zip lines, robot bartenders, roller coasters at sea. But give me a balcony and an ocean breeze, and I'm good. That's my church right there. That's where I pray with my eyes open. Maybe it stems from growing up in a house where everything had a place, a time, a system. Mama didn't play about order. Shoes aligned, coats hung, beds made like the queen was coming. That upbringing shaped me. I found peace in the patterns. Still do. Even now, the ship's hallways comfort me. The daily schedule calms me. Formal night, that's my Oscars. I put on my best, strut past that photo station, and remind the world that elegance ain't reserved for the young. I don't hit every comedy show or art auction, but I know they're there. That balance of choice and certainty, it's delicious. I'm an introvert. By nature, y'all know this. I need quiet to refuel, but get me seated with fellow cruise lovers. And man, I turn into a TED Talk with sequins. We speak our own language. We reference sunsets in Aruba and that one weird port in Russia, like it's sacred scripture. I've closed down dinner tables with those people, laughed until my coffee got cold, planned imaginary world cruises that we'll probably never take. But maybe, just maybe. Cruising lets me be bold on a schedule. I get to flirt with newness without fully leaving the nest, and every trip expands me, my bravery, my joy, my playlist. And when I come home, I'm different, fuller, calmer, more me. That's why I cruise, not to escape life, but to remember how to live it. So if you ever want to roll with Auntie Rae, bring your patience and your stretch pants. We got stories to swap, sunsets to chase, and desserts to critique. See you on deck. I'll be the one in the caftan with a mimosa and a map. The funny thing about being cut loose, you either drift or you rise. And I chose to rise. When that job of mine folded me into a spreadsheet and spit me out like a bad formula, I felt the sting. I won't lie. Years of loyalty, of showing up when my body said rest and my spirit said quit, and they dismissed me with a click and a canned line. But once the fog lifted, that release felt like fresh air after a rainstorm. I was finally free. Free to stop living under someone else's banner. Free to quit performing worthiness for people who couldn't see past my title. Free to ask myself, girl, now what? And the universe? Oh, she's got a sense of timing. Just as I'm sitting on my couch, robe tied like a loose promise, scrolling with no real destination, there it was. An email from Cunard, the Queen Mary, 2 calling my name like an old flame, whispering with a soft British accent, "Are you ready now?" So when Cunard sent an invite to sail the legendary Queen Mary 2, a shiver went down my spine. It wasn't just an email. It was like the ancestors themselves whispered a confirmation, a spiritual nudge straight to my core saying, "This one's for you, girl. Everyone who ever sailed the old girl is tasked with finding Homer Simpson on board. Your next chapter is calling." This time I didn't second guess it. I said yes with my whole chest. 7 days on the Atlantic, from Brooklyn to Southampton, just me and that big, beautiful ocean. It wasn't just a vacation, it was a rite of passage, a soul reset, a way to say, I'm still here, and I'm still that girl. I've always loved traveling alone. Something about hearing my own footsteps in a foreign place centers me. But this trip, it hit differently. This was me reintroducing myself to the world and to me. Standing on that gangway, I didn't feel lost. I felt found. All the parts I buried under deadlines and decorum started stretching like limbs waking up from a nap. I was blooming in real time. Now, don't get it twisted. This wasn't about running away. It was about coming home to what I'd forgotten: my curiosity, my courage, my calling. See, back in the day, I'd gotten certified as a travel agent. Not for the money. Lord knows folks wanted champagne trips on beer budgets. I did it to learn the game, studied destinations like scripture, plotted imaginary itineraries just for fun. That knowledge, it came back like muscle memory. So while I sipped tea in the Queen's Lounge, I started dreaming again. Not fantasy dreaming, strategic, boots to the ground planning. Could I build something of my own? Something that blended storytelling, travel, maybe even content creation that didn't make me feel like a TikTok auntie out of her depth? The answer, yes, with glitter. But I knew I had to do it my way. I'm not 22 with a ring light and a rail pass. I'm seasoned. I pack snacks and backup earrings. I crave peace and a little pop. So I don't need to backpack the world. I need to dance with it at my own rhythm. This trip reminded me, I don't need to emulate anyone. I am the blueprint. I started taking notes on people, experiences, and moments that moved me. I captured sunsets and side eyes, jotted captions that made me giggle. I wasn't just traveling, I was gathering material for my soul, like the quiet resilience I saw in an old woman selling flowers in a foreign market, wisdom in the way the ocean taught me patience, content in every sunrise and every unexpected detour, and confidence in every step I took alone. And I knew then, this wasn't a one-off. This was the soft launch of the next chapter. Auntie Rae ain't just cruising, she's building. Something soulful, something sustainable, something with sequence and sense. I don't have it all figured out, but I do have clarity, courage, and a damn good passport holder. And sometimes that's enough. So here I am, charting my own course. Tides may change, winds may shift, but this ship, she's sailing with intention. Catch me out there, wiser, wilder, and finally wonderfully free. Now listen, before I found myself floating toward the unknown like a leaf on a breeze, let me rewind and tell you how this whole rediscovery journey truly began. See, that travel agency I once owned, that was my playground. I ain't gonna lie, I was the CEO, the top client, and the only one complaining if the service wasn't 5 stars. I set that whole thing up just to feed my own wanderlust, and I was always hungry. I didn't just dabble, I dove deep, certified in vendor systems, studied destination protocols, knew which port served the best paella, and which cruise line folded towels into elephants. I became a walking encyclopedia of travel, and I wasn't even trying to make a dime. I just wanted to know, feel, and live it all. Cruising became my therapy, my reset button, my escape hatch from a world that didn't always know what to do with a bold black woman over 50. I'd been on 18 cruises, touched down in over 120 cities, and left footprints in 40 different countries. I was seasoned, crispy around the edges, and flavorful as hell. So, when Cunard sent an invite to sail the legendary Queen Mary to, it was like the ancestors whispered, "This one's for you." You could have heard me hollering clear across town. Now, don't get it twisted. That voyage wasn't cheap. Cunard ain't Carnival. They're luxury with a capital L. Lace gloves, ballroom dancing, 3-course meals, and don't forget the white-gloved service. But I didn't blink. I just whispered, "We gon' figure this out." I sat on hold so long, I started doing stretches and sipping lemon water like I was at a spa. 90 minutes later, I had my confirmation, my cabin, and a dance card ready for destiny. 7 days. New York to Southampton, just me, the sea, and a whole lot of intention. And because the universe has a sense of humor, Carnival dropped a deal right after. 3 cruises for the price of 1. I snatched those up so fast, you'd think I was running a travel scam. Almost a month at sea, bouncing from one European port to the next. Yes, Lord, this wasn't just a vacation. It was a spiritual sabbatical. I was building a pilgrimage of joy, country by country, cobblestone by cobblestone. And somewhere in all that wandering, the thought hit me. Maybe it's time to start sharing all this. Not just my photos and playlists, but the stories, the slip-ups, the divine detours. Maybe Auntie Rae had something to say to the world. I admired those bloggers with their barefoot poses and poetic captions. Sure, but I wasn't about to chase clout. I was looking to chase clarity. Could I write? Could I film? Could I make these tales shimmer like they did in my heart? Yes. And I didn't need to do it their way. I just needed to do it my way. Cruising gave me just enough comfort to stretch, explore, experiment. By day, I was dancing through ruins. By night, I was journaling like a teenager with a crush. It was delicious. And then one day, sitting on a dock in Italy, eating gelato that dripped all over my skirt, the name popped in my head. Girls, let's bop about. Well, you know the name got changed. I laughed out loud. It sounded like a vintage record or an old school dance move, but it fit. It was sassy, playful, me. So while I wasn't ready to turn it into a full brand just yet, I carried it in my heart like a secret, a compass, a wink to the universe. Now, don't get me wrong, living like this on a budget wasn't no walk in the park. I was scouring sites, sniffing out deals, making spreadsheets sing. But I had a fire in my belly, a mission, a map made of daydreams and dollar store ambition. Folks might have said I was doing too much, but too much is where the magic happens. This wasn't indulgence. It was alignment. I was listening to the whisper in my spirit that said, go. And every step I took on gangways, through alleyways, across languages, felt like an answered prayer. Solo travel strips you down and dresses you up at the same time. It reveals what you need, what you crave, and who you really are. It makes the world feel both vast and intimate. And me, I was finally ready to let the world see me. I didn't need a backpack and a hostel bunk to prove I was brave. I needed beauty, comfort, stillness between the storms. My kind of wild looked like silk kimonos on balconies and midnight journaling under foreign stars. I wasn't running. I was arriving. This wasn't just a trip. It was a resurrection, and I was just getting started.
Now, sugar, I ain't here to convert you. Just gonna tell you why the waves feel like a whisper from God. And why a balcony with a breeze is my kind of sanctuary. I unpack once and the world rolls in. Steel drums hum while the healing begins. A sampler played a life, baby, that's the vibe. If my spirit don't dance, I let that port slide. Whitewashed walls and Santorini dreams. Tallinn secrets spilling in moonlight beams. Not every place speaks, but when they do, oh child, I mark it in my soul, not just in my file. The ocean ain't never judged me. She just rocked me slow, then hugged me. I float, I feast, I find my peace. In the rhythm of the sea, they cut me loose, but I broke free. And now the tide belongs to me. Deck plans like scripture, I know them well. Midnight snacks and shrimp that cast a spell. My steward knows my towel count by heart. This structure's my solace, my soft place to start. Folks laugh at my color-coded cruise binder, but baby, that system, it's a soul reminder that peace don't mean chaos, and calm can be wild even in introverts sparkle when the seas are running mild. The ocean ain't never judged me. She just rocked me slow, then hugged me. I flirt with ports, but home's that breeze that sings like satin through the trees. Yeah, they let me go, but I broke free. Now this tide she rolls for me. They folded me into a spreadsheet like I was some typo to delete. But baby, I'm not Data, I'm Destiny and Cunard. She called me like an old flame, whispering, "You ready now?" And I said yes, with my whole chest. 7 nights, Atlantic blues, wind in my curls, no more fake news. Not running, just arriving, no capes, just thriving. Told myself, you the blue princess, and every mile sealed with a kiss. The ocean ain't never judged. She hugged me. She don't ask for titles or praise. She just shows me